Namaste. This is Professor Subramanyam Naidu, Professor of Anthropology, former Dean and Director, Central University Pondicherry, and member of Indian Council of Social Science Research and NCRT. Characteristics of the Indian tribes are they have a definite geographical and social area. So, a tribe lives in a particular geographical area and a particular place. First example is the Todas of Nilgiris, the Kota of Nilgiris, the Gonds or the Chenchus or for Nalamalai forest regions. Almost all the tribes, they live in isolation in a particular geographical area. Of course, over a period of time, because of the urbanization, expansion and deforestation, some of the tribes has been distributed or migrated to plain areas also. The second one is lives in hilly or forest areas. Most of the tribes, especially the primitive tribes, still they are living in the forest and forest regions, especially the Jarvas, the Shompen population of Andaman Islands, the Sentinelese, and the population of northeast Maram Nagas, the central Indian tribes of Abuz Maria, and the Chenchus of Andhra Pradesh, Kotas of Nilgiris. Many of them are still living in the forest regions and interior regions and inaccessible areas. The third one is integrated social organization on the basis of primarily on blood relationship. It is very important. Is social organization is very strong. The network of kinship relations and kinship bondage is very strong among them, and blood relations is very important among the most of the tribals. They have their own kinship terminologies and also the blood relationships. Then another important one is cultural homogeneity is the main characteristic of the community. They doesn't have heterogeneity. They are all belong to one group, one population. There is no hierarchy among the clan system also. So we have in the caste population differences and hierarchy, but whereas among the tribals they belong to almost all of them are equal category. For example, among the Kotas we have different occupations for different clans, but all of them are equal. That is the unique characteristics of among the tribal populations. Then another important is they have a common dialect with a shared folklore. It is a very important one. Every tribe have their own language, folk songs, folk dances. We can identify many of the tribes based on their folk songs and folklore and folk, and most of the literature of the tribes are stored in the way of folk songs and folk stories. That is the one of the important characteristics. And another important one is hierarchy among the men and groups is absent. There is no distinction between one group to another group. That is, we can call them as clans or bands. There is no hierarchy. All are equal. Social bonds among the tribes is kinship system. They have a strong network of a kinship system, which I have told you earlier also. They are tied with the kinship bondages very strongly. That is important. Almost all the tribes, they have their kinship terminologies. They have the totemic objectives, totemic way of worship. That is another important one. Then absence of lack of strong, complex, formal organizations. They doesn't have the political panchayat system which we are having, and they doesn't have any constitutional amendments or constitutional way of prescribed rules and regulations. They have a communitarian basis of land holding. Here, which I wanted to discuss with you, majority of the communities doesn't have a independent common land holding. Of course, present day they are holding, especially the plain tribes, they have their own lands, pata lands. But whereas in the tribal areas, they doesn't have a particular land belongs to a particular tribe. Another important cultural feature is segmentary in character. They have their own division of labor for both men and women and also the children. They have their own way of doing the thing. In many of the tribes, once they had the gotel, that is youth organizations for both male and female. Now, because of acculturation, among the most of the tribes it has been disappeared, except in central Indian tribes. So the segmentary way of behaving, segmentary way of doing things is an important one. Little value on additional accumulation on the use of capital and market trading. Tribal economy is very simple economy. It is mostly based on the barter system. They doesn't believe in the market system, and they doesn't have the accumulation of money, and they live on the substance of the economy of their own. That is very important. A simple primitive economy, especially non-timber forest produce, which they will be selling it into the barter system to the weekly shanties for their survival. And another one is lack of distinction between forms as well as substance of religion. Religion plays a very important role among them, which I have discussed with you. They are animistic, worship the nature, plants, animals and trees, sun, moon and other gods. Last one is a distinctive psychological view towards enjoying life. I feel myself they are the beautiful and wonderful people who are enjoying the life like anything. Some of the tribes who are living in the forest regions and interior regions enjoying life like anything. They are independent, they have their own way of life, and they have their songs, dances, and every day they have their own distilled liquor consumption, and they are so strongly kinshiply network and associated by them. I hope you might have enjoyed this discussion